Okay, pal, you want smash mouth power and efficiency? Then here's your starting lineup. Ford F-Series, #1 for 37 years straight. Talk about a dynasty, baby. Hey, it's game time, sports fans, at the Bill Ford Tough Sales Event.
And good afternoon, everyone, from the lobby of Bruner Motors on the corner of the South Loop and Lillian Street in Stephenville. Make sure you stop by. Plenty of free food courtesy of the pizza place. We have refreshments and Tarleton athletic giveaways later in the half hour. The Coach Lonn Reisman Show is sponsored by the Bruner Auto family, so we want to thank them for their support making the show possible. Coach, I don't have to tell you, two tough games over the past week. Congratulations on the wins.
Yeah, Casey, they were big games for us. Had to go to Cameron. It's always a hard place to play, as we know. We've won some games there in the last seconds. We've lost some games there in the last seconds. Then come home against the West Texas team that I thought was playing very well coming in. They won their last 9 out of 12, so 2 good ball games.
And you talked about how tough it is to play at Cameron. Did you realize the last 3 years you played at Cameron, it's come down to Cameron having the ball for a 3-point shot the winter time?
Well, I knew it's been a lot there. I can tell you that. I think that, last year we beat them in overtime there in a very close game. The year before, I think we lost at a last-second shot over there. And I can remember shots going in from half court over there earlier in my career that were tough games. But it's been a tough place to play. We've come out on top quite a few times, and I'm very proud of the effort after coming off that emotional loss to Midwestern to have to get right back in and go on the road and try to find our first road victory and try to steal a road victory in this conference. And I think Cameron's a very hard place to play.
And we talked a lot 1 week ago at the show about how well they shoot the three, Coach. First in the conference, 42%. They were 1 of 13, 8%. Was that the difference?
Well, I think it was. I mean, we tried to take something away from them that they do well, and that's to shoot the three ball. And if you look at them, they have some very, very good shooters. And our game plan was that was one of the keys to victory. And I thought our kids executed that part of the game plan.
It was a very physical game, 58 fouls. You had 3 players foul out, Mabry, E.J. Reed, and Mo Lee. And I thought guys like Damian Clemens and Jakob Domster stepped up.
Well, they've been there before, and that's where it's good to have some experience. And you got Damian Clemens coming off the bench that's been there for 4 years. He's he's started for ball games. I thought he had a great ball game, 7 rebounds, 7 points, and did some really good things for us. And he's got a great basketball IQ, and he understands the game plans. And then Jakob Domster comes in and gets 4 points, 1 on a tip in and 1 on a good post move. And again, he's getting better all the time. Even though he's a junior, he started his career late playing, and he continues to improve, and he continues to be a very viable player for us in our program.
Speaking of E.J. Reed, he had 12 points and 6 boards in 17 minutes. He just looked different in that game to me.
Well, I think he's bringing his confidence back, Casey. We're trying to work him in, and E.J. is a very good passer, and E.J. has offensive skills. He's learning to be better defensively. He's trying to understand what we need out of him out of the paint as far as rebounding, and he's a young man. It's a very emotional young man, and you just have to keep your emotions under control so you don't lose focus in a game. And I think he's continually working at that. And when he is focused and he is playing at a high level, he can help this basketball team.
DeAndre Ray, number 5 for Cameron, came into the game, Coach, averaging 16.5 per game, but he was just 1 of 11 from the field for 6 points, and he fouled out. Defensively, you did a nice job on him.
Well, he's a very good player, and someone that we were very, very concerned about, and we'll be very concerned about him when we play him again. And we just, we happened to execute our game plan on him. He is capable of really taking the game over and really shooting the ball well, and we were very fortunate that we did a great job on him.
DeAndre Ray missed a 3-pointer at the buzzer, and Tarleton secured the 74-71 win over Cameron, improving to 14-2 overall and 2-2 in the Lone Star Conference. Next up was a home matchup against 11-6 West Texas A&M. Coach, they're also 2-2 in the conference, and to tell you how little preseason polls matter, they were picked to finish last in the conference.
Yeah, and they're definitely a very, very good team, Casey. They got our attention on the way home from Cameron when they beat Kingsville 71-52. That's just not really done down there with Johnny coaching down there, and a very explosive team that can really shoot the 3 ball. I think they're averaging 27 or 28 threes a game, and they're really they shoot it fast, or they can run their offense and wait for the opportunity to shoot it, and so he's got them playing very well, knowing their roles. He's got them playing very well, feeling that they can shoot the ball, and very confident in them shooting the ball, and so a very different and a difficult team to play, and their kids play with a lot of energy. They play with a lot of enthusiasm, and we had to play very well to beat them.
Yeah, and you talked about the 28 attempts they average a game. They average 10 3-point makes a game, and I think the magical number from Coach Chris was like 7 and 1 when they hit over 10, and they only hit 7.
And 7 was our goal. We didn't want them to hit over 7 makes, and you know, it's very important for us to keep them into that area. And you know, again, when you follow your game plan and you keep your game plan in perspective of what everybody is keying on, what everybody needs to do, you have a chance to win ball games.
You were out-rebounded 15-6 on the offensive glass. We talked a lot about that after the game. However, West Texas took 61 shots and you only took 41.
Yeah, you know, and there's a big difference in there. We talked about that at halftime. At halftime, we had 9 turnovers, we were creating more possessions for them, Casey. The more possessions they get off the offensive boards, the more possessions they get as a turnover, it means more possessions to shoot the ball. And that's something we had to correct in the second half.
Davinae Carter just played 11 minutes, coach, 3 boards and 3 points. Is he in a bit of a slump right now?
I don't know if he's in a bit of a slump right now. I think that we're searching for things that we're looking for certain things. I mean, he's a big part of what we do. It's just like EJ was playing 11 or 12 minutes. You're always looking for certain things in certain games, and when people are playing well, you know, you go with them a little longer. And right now, we're searching for things to make our team, you know, better on certain ends of the floor. I thought, you know, Devin and Damon did a great job of coming in, and I thought those two were the two that kind of brought us back, and because of their experience, and they play well together, they communicate well together, and so, you know, you take your best players in situations in a game, and that's when you insert them.
And I can talk a little bit about this because before I started broadcasting, I came to a lot of Tarleton basketball games as a student, and you kind of created a monster here. You win 76-71, and the atmosphere around town is like, well, we don't know about this team, but coach, you're 15-2. There's a lot of teams that would kill to be 15-2.
Well, you know, I mean,
you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think people feel like that. I mean, we're, you know, it's, you know, you create those type of things, Casey. You know, we're 15-2 right now, and we have not played our best basketball. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and it's the 23rd of January, and I think that's what we're searching to do right now is, can we get this, you know, what do we need to do, who needs to be on the floor, and where can we start developing that time of when we're going to peak to see our best basketball played. And, you know, the sign of a good team is a team that has not peaked yet but can find a way to win. And we're finding a way to win where I think some teams are peaking right now and they're playing their best right now. Will they be playing their best a month from now? I don't know. I hope we're playing at a higher level, and I'm hoping we're peaking and getting better a month from now as we get toward tournament time.
Tarleton has now assured itself of its 14th consecutive winning season, your 24th winning season in 27 years at the helm of this program. We'll take our first 1-minute break, and when we return, senior guard Mo Lee will join the broadcast when the Coach Lonn Reisman radio show continues right after this. Time now for this week's Tarleton Player Spotlight. Our guest today has appeared in 44 games for the Purple and White, 417 career points, 20-plus double-digit scoring games, 155 rebounds, 49 steals. Let's welcome to the show number 22, Mo Lee. Mo, what's going on? Hey, always good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Let's start talking about that win. Coach and I just talked about the 76-71 win over West Texas. What's going through your mind as a team when you're down by 1? Or actually, no, you're down by 6 with 9 minutes to go.
To stay poised. We've been in that situation a lot this year. We just had to pull out the win. We knew we had to lock down on defense, come up to win something.
Now, Tayshawn Mabry and yourself combined for 22 points over the past 9 minutes of the game. Talk about Tayshawn, because he's really stepped up and played well lately.
Yeah, Tayshawn is playing good. He's playing good at the right time, and he's being the lead. He's being the offensive scorer that we need him to be down the stretch, late in the games.
Now, Mo, everybody knows that Lonn Reisman demands a lot from his players. It's not easy to gain his trust, but what I've seen from y'all's relationship, you kind of built some trust together. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. Coach, he leads more on the seniors. He wants the seniors to be leaders, to lead this team. So that's what I want to do.
Now, when you leave Tarleton, what's going to be the biggest thing you've learned that maybe you didn't have when you came here 2 years ago?
I would definitely say preparation. In order to be successful, you have to prepare, and that's the biggest thing I would take.
Did you ever see a scouting report like the one that Coach Chris puts together when you played junior college ball?
Not as detailed as that now, but it's definitely a good thing to have with you.
Now this obviously is the Lonn Reisman radio show, Mo. You know that, but let's talk about other members of the staff. Who are some other members of the coaching staff that have really made an impact in your life?
I would say everybody, mostly from top to the bottom. I would say Coach Chris been a good impact on my life. He just off the court as well, not just basketball, teach you life lessons. But Coach Cloudy, Coach TD, to even Coach Cole, everyone's been a part of it.
I want to ask you about Coleman first, because he's a graduate assistant coach. He goes from playing with you to now being your coach. What's that transition? Is it kind of strange?
I wouldn't say it's a strange. The only strange thing about it is calling him coach. He's still a player in my eyes, but other than that, it's all good.
What do you feel like is the biggest strength of this team right now? You're 15-2 overall. Your biggest strength?
I would say our versatility. We have multiple guys that can play multiple positions on this team, and so that helps us defensively and late in games too.
Biggest weakness, biggest area for improvement?
I would say rebounding. Rebounding has been a little bit of a struggle.
Coach been talking about that a little bit in practice?
Yeah, about that a lot.
Just a little bit. All right, a little bit about you. You're raised in the Bronx. You go to high school in Ludowici, Georgia. Now, I've heard of the Bronx. I haven't heard of Ludowici, Georgia. How different were those two places?
Now, you could say it's different. I mean, Ludowici is a small town. I'm from the city. I'm a city boy, so it's a bit more slower.
The Bronx, home of the New York
The
Yankees. Are you now? Your head coach is the biggest Yankees fan. Are you a Yankees fan?
No, actually, I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm not too much of a basketball. Baseball type of sport. But I'm gonna have to go with the Yankees. I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
Yeah, that's probably the right answer. Otherwise, you're probably doing sprints later today. All right, time now for our quick fire round. I think it's getting famous among the teammates. I hope it's this simple. I'm going to say a subject, a name, maybe a fill in the blank, and just give me a quick answer. Can you do that?
All right.
All right, Mo. Funniest teammate.
I will have to say myself.
You're the funniest teammate. I can see that traveling.
I will have to say myself.
I can see that traveling with the team.
Besides me, I'm gonna have to go with CB Charles.
You go with Charles. All right, toughest player you've guarded in the Lone Star Conference. Opposing player. I know that guy from Midwestern about a week ago.
Yeah. That's
we'll go with McNeil.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm going with McNeil.
How about why number 22? I was thinking maybe Emmitt Smith, but
I would say KG was my favorite player growing up. He had number 21, and so
21 wasn't available.
21 wasn't available, so I had to go with 22.
Favorite subject in school?
I would say history.
History. Tarleton fans are blank. Fill in the blank.
They're the best in the state.
Amen. Associate head coach Chris Reisman.
That's my guy.
The Bronx, New York. Tell us something about the Bronx that we don't know.
I guess everybody knows the Bronx is where music originated from. Boogie Down Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx.
Boogie Down Bronx. And of course the home of the New York Yankees.
And the Knicks too.
And the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't want to say the Knicks, but
is that your favorite professional team?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that.
The New York Knicks. They're struggling a little bit this year, aren't they?
We're having a rough year, but we're gonna be all right.
Do you want to play professional basketball?
Yeah, that's the next level. I want to play professional.
After basketball, what would be your dream job?
I would say to impact other kids' lives, not just my family, but help other kids to tell them to chase their dream.
That's awesome, man. You're almost off the hot seat, but one final question. After you leave Tarleton State, what do you want fans, coaches, and players to say about Mo Lee after you leave? Remember about you.
I was a good person, a hard worker, and a winner. I wanted to be known as a winner.
Well, you've done a pretty good job of that so far, Mo. Congratulations on your success thus far. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, Casey.
That is senior guard from the Bronx, New York, Mo Lee. When we return in 1 minute, Coach will rejoin the broadcast and we'll preview the matchup with Eastern New Mexico when the Coach Lonn Reisman radio show continues right after this. Coach, let's take a quick look at this week's National Association of Basketball Coaches Top 25 poll. And the reason I want to ask you about it is there's so many teams in your region ranked. You've got Angelo State at 11, Tarleton State at 15, Midwestern at 23. You've got 3 RMAC teams inside the top 15. I know this region's always tough, but have you ever seen it this tough?
Well, I think it just shows you, Casey, the type of basketball that we play in this South Central. I mean, it's just we've had a national champion come out of here in the past. We've had teams in the Elite Eight that have done well, and it's even stronger this year. I would agree with you. I mean, it's just going to be a war down the stretch here. You don't have Commerce is a great team. They could easily be in the top.
They're only getting 8 votes,
and they could easily easily be in the top 25. They can't tell me there's 25 better teams, and I mean they're very, very good.
St. Ed's was ranked last week.
Midwestern is outstanding. Angelo has proven to be, top of the league right now, and so it's it's going to really get interesting going down the stretch. Now I'm going to tell you, we go to Eastern, we come home against McMurray, then we go to a 2-game stretch on the road that I know we'll talk about in the future. But we're getting down to really some tough ball games, and you've got to find a way to win some of these on the road like we did last Saturday. You've got to steal some wins on the road.
Take a look at some scores from around the Lone Star Conference on Wednesday. Coach Angelo State 72, Midwestern State 55 in Wichita Falls, and I think that score, talking to some folks at Angelo, that score even shocked them. But one thing they did is Bretson McNeil fouled out and he only had 6 points.
Well, they did a great job on one of their leading scorers. I thought we did a pretty good job against Midwestern, except for we gave a couple of players, their averages, and that's what hurt us. Angelo went over there and they did a great job on their leading scorer, and you can see what happens to that. They probably competed well on the backboards. It's going to be just a war with these people, Casey. I mean, Midwestern's a good basketball team, and right now Angelo State's playing at a very high level, and we'll get to see them again on February 11th, and you look forward to that date. But we got so many games in between them right now to see where we're going to be. And right now, we don't talk about really anything in the future. I don't even really talk about the conference. What I'm talking about to our guys is we're looking for win number 16. When is that win going to come? We got win 15 on Wednesday night. It was a very tough physical game to get win 15. Now we just focus on the 16th win of the season, and hopefully that'll be tomorrow night in Port Tallis, and then we'll focus on the next one and as they come along.
Side note on that Angelo State Midwestern game, Midwestern's last loss at home was to Tarleton State 1 year ago, so they had a heck of a winning streak going on there. Cameron 78, Texas A&M Kingsville 71, and Lonn, give Coach Estelle some credit.
Yeah.
Go in there and play Cameron pretty tough.
Yeah, and again, Cameron's a hard place to play, and Kingsville is going to play hard every night, but I'll give the same thing to Cameron. Cameron's going to play hard every night, and that was a tough ball game. Knew it would be a tough ball game. It's just, Casey, if you don't bring the game with a passion and you don't come to play every night, then somebody's going to knock you off. There's no doubt about that. There's not a lot of room for error this year. There's not a lot of room for not to bring the very best effort that you can, because when you don't, you're going to have a chance to get beat.
Texas A&M Commerce over Eastern New Mexico. We'll talk about that later. 91-67 in that game. Coach, the standings around the conference very quickly. Angelo 4-0, half game back. Midwestern at 4-1. Texas A&M Commerce a game back at 3-1. Coach, you're at 3-2, a game and a half back. You've got West Texas A&M and Cameron at 2-3, Kingsville at 1-4, and then Eastern New Mexico at 0-5. So we're not even halfway through the schedule.
No.
You're just a game and a half out.
Well, anything can happen. There's so much that can happen in later on in February. I mean, what I'm saying, you just cannot look ahead. You have to find, you guys have to prepare hard for your next game. You don't know what injuries are going to happen. You don't know what other things that can attribute to a team that gets off track. So right now we're trying to keep our guys focused, taking care of each day the best of our ability, and try to improve ourselves. So like I said, when you get down into the February, if you've given yourself a chance to do something special, you're still there doing it. You just said we're 15-2, and we just got to continue to build that next 16th win to see where we are by the time it comes tournament.
All right, let's stop looking ahead then, and let's look right on Saturday, Coach. You got Eastern New Mexico, the Greyhounds in Port Tallis. They're 7-11 overall, 0-5 in the Lone Star Conference. Despite their record, what concerns you heading into this game?
Well, Port Tallis is always a long journey. It's a 7-hour journey. It's a very hard place to play. It's an afternoon game. We just lost there 2 years ago, if you remember, with Chuck Guy in his first year here. We had a very, very good team. We get beat 59-56 out there. It's a game that we cannot take for granted. It's a game that we're going to have to prepare for. You've seen many upsets this year in college basketball. I guess that's what Michigan State thought when they played Texas Southern. They were 1-8, and they come in and beat them. You better be ready to play everybody that you're going to play each night, because, again, these people are hungry for their first win. We're hungry to continue to keep our winning streak going, and I look for a real battle.
Andrew Helton resigned in April after 5 seasons there at Eastern New Mexico. Scott Carter coached, the interim head coach, and that's got to be a difficult position for Coach Carter.
Yeah, and he worked under Coach and did a good job under him, and I think he's gained a lot of knowledge, and he's doing a very good job in his first year. Yeah, I mean, I think there's always going to be some bumps in the road when you come into that program, and you lose your head coach, and you're trying to implement your own program and your own philosophy somewhat. And so, you know, I look for him to continue to work hard. He's going to work hard. He's done a good job, and they've lost some tough ball games, but you know, he's going to keep that team motivated to play well.
Yeah, and they've had 60 different players, coach, that have seen time this year.
Yep.
They lost Lawrence Domingo, who's missed the last 7 games. He was averaging 14 and 5.5 per game, and since they lost him, they've lost 6 to 7.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know the circumstances of that, but you know, when you lose a player of that caliber, it's going to affect you until you can get things put back together and get people in. Now people have got to accept different roles on your team.
Now, if you're a Tarleton football fan, you might remember the name Seth Bailey. He's an all-region linebacker, all-first conference selection. So Seth Bailey is now playing power forward for Eastern New Mexico, coach. He started the last 7 games. How rare is that to see a 2-sport athlete in today's world?
Well, it is rare. You know, we've had them here before. You know, we got Carter running track here, and
yep.
he's playing play basketball. We had Chavis McAllister play football here. That was actually an all-conference basketball player here, and so you see that once in a while. And I imagine that young man brings some physicality to that basketball team.
They average 29 free throw attempts per game. That's 6th in the nation. These are some of the things they do real well. They're averaging 24 three-point attempts per contest. That's 21st in the nation. Free throw shooting and the 3-ball, 2 areas that can really hurt you.
And 2 areas that we have to be on top of our game tomorrow night to make sure that we're concentrating on the areas that they have strengths in to try to take it away from them.
As far as guard play is concerned, coach, Chris Wims and John Gillum combined average 29 points per game. They're right now the top 2 scorers if you take Domingo out of the mix. So that will present a challenge for guys like Mo Lee and Malcolm Hamilton.
Definitely have to be on top of our game. You know, they're always going to shoot well at home, and we got to do a great job of taking them out of their comfort zones and making sure that we are executing what we need to do on the offensive end and the defensive end to win a big ball game like this on the road.
It's the Texans and the Greyhounds from Portales, New Mexico on Saturday afternoon. It's a 5 o'clock tip-off Texas time if you're making the trip out west. 4 o'clock tip-off in Portales, Mountain Central Time. And then on Wednesday night, coach, you're going to return home just quickly on. They're 6-9 overall. Cliff Carroll in that program, moving from Division II to Division III. How tough is that on that program?
Well, I imagine it's very tough right now because they're in transition of doing that, and Cliff does a great job of coaching that team. And Mac Murray has a tremendous basketball tradition, and we played them in a very tough game last year. They have some of those players that are still returning from that team, so you know, there's no game that gets easy, Casey. At this time of the year, there's no easy games, and that's the tough, you know, that's the tough part of the grind of a year like this. You know, it is a grind. When you play 2 emotional games like we played back-to-back with Cameron and West Texas, and you're right on the road to play another one tomorrow night, it gets, you know, you've got to understand there's a grind in this, and our kids have to be as mentally tough as they can to win.
How about this? McMurray has a 6'6" forward out of Austin Bowie High School, Connor Robinson, coach. He's averaging 22 points and 9 boards per game.
Yeah, we saw him play this year, and I mean, they run a nice motion game, and their kids play very, very hard. They have a passion to play the game, and then they're well coached. So by no means, you know, we have a lot of respect for the Mac Murray program.
That game against McMurray, folks, 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday night at Wisdom Gym. We'll take our final break here on the Coach Lonn Reisman Radio Show, and when we return, Coach and I will wrap up this edition when Tarleton Texan basketball continues right after this. Want to thank our entire live audience here at Bruner Motors. Great crowd as always. And Coach, we're going to bring out the dice. One roll with the dice.
Can't skid it. Got to roll it, don't you?
Got to roll it. You cannot skid it. And you can win an oil change or a car wash courtesy of Bruner Motors. You can win a Tarleton athletic shirt, Tarleton athletic hat, or you can win an entry into our grand prize.
All right.
We had one person last week get the entry into the grand prize, which was a travel package to Allen for the Lone Star Conference basketball tournament. You'll come back for the roll-off on the final show before the conference tournament. So our first person to participate, Weldon Newton. Weldon, you're eating your pizza place right now. We want to thank the pizza place for providing the food. So Weldon, you got to get up there and roll, my friend. And you cannot skid it.
Roll that dice. All right.
Again, each week the pizza place providing our refreshments, so we appreciate their support. And Weldon will grab the dice from.
See what Weldon's going to do here.
Roll those dice. Roll the dice.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Hey, he gets a shirt. So congratulations,
all right.
Weldon. Charles Velasquez. Charles, come on down.
Get him.
Charles, one of our Tarleton students here. We appreciate his support, and he's going to roll the dice. So here we go, Charles.
What did you get? What did you get?
Red prize. Hey, there you go.
Prize. He's in the
all right. So we got Charles Velasquez and C.D. Jones now
in the big drawing.
In the big drawing. And our final participant today has got a 5th birthday on Sunday, Rush Reisman.
Oh,
Rush was, hey, You can't make this stuff up, folks. So
let's go roll the dice, Rush.
I think the associate head coach is going to have to assist.
I don't know. So he can do that. Roll that dice, Rush.
All right, Russ.
Roll it, buddy.
Russ is going to roll the dice.
There he goes. Roll it.
Oh, let's get it. Oh, that was a good roll. Heck of a roll.
What did he get?
Oil tank.
Oh my God! He's not old enough to drive yet.
I don't. Maybe someone in the family could use an oil change.
I don't know. Kyle Masters is going to have to take care of Rush. He's probably going to put it down about 10 years from now. I don't know. A 10-year credit.
I owe you on that. Hey, Rush, those oil changes are expensive, partner, I promise. So congratulations to our live audience. We appreciate their support. Come out each week. We'll have door prizes to give away each week here from Brunner Motors. Quick note on the Texans. They're 9-5 overall, 3-3 in the conference. Coach, they fell in a tough one with the number 10 team in the nation in overtime Wednesday night.
Well, I think the Texans have shown that they can compete with anybody in the conference. They've played everybody in the conference very, very tough. They beat Midwestern at home. They had a great opportunity to beat West Texas. They've just shown that they compete with anybody. And I think Misty and her staff and their players have shown a lot of character and a lot of bounce back. And we look for them to be a real formidable team by the time they get to conference.
Coach, yes, sir. Coach Wilson's squad returns to action Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Mountain Time against the Eastern New Mexico Zias. That pregame show at 2:45. The Coach Misty Wilson radio show is every Thursday at noon from the lobby of First Financial Bank in Stephenville. Thanks for everyone for heading out to Coach Wilson's show yesterday. And I want to remind you the next broadcast of Tarleton basketball Saturday night, 5 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Mountain Time from Greyhound Arena in Portales. The National Farm Life pregame show at 4:45. You'll hear from Associate Head Coach Chris Reisman. We'll have starting lineups and keys to the game. You can listen to the broadcast on the flagship station of the Tarleton Sports Network, 90.5 FM KTRL in Stephenville, Granbury, and Fort Worth. I want to thank the Pizza Place for providing today's food. A big thanks to senior guard Mo Lee for joining us early in the show. I want to thank our producer Aaron Young, who does a great job back at the KTRL studio. Thanks to our on-site engineer to my left, the one and only Mr. Jody Lee Cottle. And thanks to the Brunner Auto family for sponsoring the show. Last but not least, we want to thank each and every one of you for listening and for your support of Tarleton State Athletics. Coach, time for our final question. What is it about Greyhound Arena that makes it difficult? Because it's definitely unique, is it not?
It is a unique place, Casey. I mean, it's a
horseshoe.
Yeah, it's shaped like a horseshoe, and their fans get into the game. Let's just be honest. You always have the baseball team sitting right down there at the end of my bench, and they just love to have a good time there, and that's what college athletics is all about. And they always seem to play very well against us, and so it's gonna, and it's a long trip out there. Let's be honest. You're in a bus, and we're gonna get out there tonight very late, and so it is an atmosphere out there that's a little different than in here. You're in a different time zone out there.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have to go out there and play our very best.
I'll never forget 2 years ago when John Cathy Macklin got off the bus at the hotel and had never been to Portales, and he goes, "What is that smell?"
Oh,
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck against Eastern New Mexico.
Thank you, Casey.
That's going to do it for this third edition of the Coach Lonn Reisman Radio Show for the 27th year head coach of the Texans. I'm Casey Hogan saying so long from Brunner Motors in Stephenville. Until next time, have a good Friday, everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night from Portales, New Mexico.